Welcome to another episode on the LEGO Mindstorms EV3 system. Today's episode focuses on using the brick programming on the EV3. This is not programming on the laptop, but rather this is programming on the EV3 brick. In the class setting, we have students use the brick program as an introduction to how to program and how to put together a sequence of instructions. Students may have had experience with the laptop programming before and they ask to jump right into that, but in the classroom setting it's good to get this basic process. So this assumes that you have gotten to page 38 or step 40 and the teacher has checked briefly your robot chassis, as we call it, that the motors are plugged in to the correct ones from the letter ports to the actual motors, and that the wheels spin freely. So assuming that, you go over to page 39, and actually one brief thing, usually we have the students build the rest of the attachments, so I should say that. Have them build the remainder of the motor and sensor attachments. That should be a check, and then they'll come back to this. So this first page shows you button press by button press how to navigate to the sample program. And then this picture shows you what it's going to do. Remember that anytime you have the robot that's going to operate, it should either be on the ground or you should hold it up in midair so that the wheels can spin freely. We don't want the robot to be driving on the table, you don't know what it does, and it might accidentally fall off. That would be really not good. So this first page is a sample program. And then you flip over to page 40, then it shows you two blocks, all right? So there's a play block, there's this block that says do this once. So these are the two instructions. And then this goes through and shows you button press by button press how to navigate to get those blocks. So one partner is going to do this, then you're going to make sure it does that. Then the other partner starts again, all right? Don't save it, just do it again from scratch and run that same program. You'll notice here, these are the different options. And in a previous episode, we showed the resources on the website. It shows a map. Basically, the set of blocks is about this big, and you press up, down, left, right to sort of navigate through it. So as you're programming this, make sure you understand what you're doing, and then run the sample program. After you've done that, then you're going to flip through. All right, this assumes that you've built the various attachments, and starting on page 47, there are 6 sample programs in total. So you get to a page, you pause, think about it on your own, take a look at these blocks, what they might mean. Remember, LEGO is very good about having visual instructions and just letters and numbers, no words. So they don't have instructions in English or a particular language. So think about what these blocks might mean. And this shows you a picture of what the robot will actually do. So on your own, think about it, then discuss with your partner. Then one person does this, gets the robot to behave as it's supposed to, and then start over. Then the next person does the same thing and make sure you get the robot behavior. This is what you're telling it to do, this is what you're hoping it does, and then that should match what it actually, the robot behaves. Keep in mind that at any point if your robot starts operating and you want to stop the program, that's this top left button. Okay, top left program will just cancel it out. And then also if you want to turn off the robot, you keep pressing the top left button until it says, are you sure you want to power off? And then you power off. Now 47 is the first one. There are 6 in total. And just to finish this episode, I'll walk you through the reasoning for the first one. So we just want to focus on each of the blocks, and as you're learning, think about what are all the important symbols. So if you want to pause the video, you can talk through this. Otherwise, I'll walk you through sort of the solution. So this first one, we see 2 motors. All right, it's driving forward. You want to make sure the motors are plugged into B and C. So this is saying go forward. And it's not for a particular amount of time or rotation, it's just going forward forever. This next one, you see, hey, that kind of looks like the ultrasonic sensor. It's saying it needs to be plugged into port 4. And maybe you're not sure what this symbol means, so you skip to the last one. It says same motor block, but has a circle / which means stop. So you want to think it's going forward forever, and then it stops. So what must have to happen in between? Well, looking at this, it looks like the robot starts off some distance, it goes forward, and then it measures the distance between itself and the color block. And it looks like this symbol, it's less than 30. So how we piece this all together is to say the robot's going to move forward, so you could start at a really far distance, and at the really far distance it's going to measure a really large value. And it's going to keep going, and then the ultrasonic sensor, meanwhile, it's always measuring. It's measuring 100 centimeters, 100 centimeters, and it's going to, as it gets closer to the block, it'll go down to 90, 80, 70, all the way down to 30. And the moment that the ultrasonic sensor reaches 30, it says, oh, I have a value less than 30. Then it stops, okay? The way I've explained it involves a lot of words, but this is how you have to understand how the robot is thinking. Anytime that we're making sensor measurements, it's hard for it to get exactly 30. So rather we use ranges. So we're saying at the beginning it's very far away, so the value is much greater than 30. So we're saying that the moment that it gets to less than 30, it'll do the next step, which is to stop. Okay, so you've seen overall how to go through the brick programming. When you get through all 6 of them successfully, then you will have a good foundation on how the robot logic works. And when you go into the laptop programming, which is similar in certain ways, but has a lot more features, you'll have that good foundation to be able to do the more complex tasks. Thanks for listening.